guys will wear masks, okay? We can't shoot the crowd if you're not wearing masks. You guys have done a great job spacing out. Please stay in your groups. Try not to leave your groups. And then we're on live TV. It's been a long time since we've had live fans. If you guys could please avoid a couple things. Please do not, the F word, please do not chant holy blank, even though it happens at wrestling shows, but just please don't do it. The other thing, can you guys just be hot? Because you guys represent this entire place. You can be the hottest wrestling crowd in the world. Thank you.
What is up, my friends, and welcome to another edition of AEW Week in Review. I'm your host, Mark Perry, editor of Pro Wrestling News Hub, covering pro wrestling, not sports entertainment. Yes, we're an AEW-focused website. No question about that. On this week's show, we go through the latest news, what's going on with the AEW schedule, recap of Dynamite. We've been off for a week because we had the Saturday show, we got ratings news, and of course we have your social media and Mr. Fourth Row checking in. So how do you get in touch with the show? You email podcast@prowrestlingnewshub.com with your MP3 videos, or you call 888-430-7692 extension 3. Remember, cutoff time is 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. That's when we put the show together. When we're at the normal schedule, we'll talk about what the schedule looks like for AEW in September. We're coming up on that on the show as well. Remember to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll really appreciate that. That gets the word out for the show. Question of the week. We want to hear your thoughts on what the matches that you're most excited about for All Out. We want to hear that. So that's the question for next week's show, just to throw that out there. So without further ado, folks, my friends, let's just get into the week that was AEW. A quick recap of the August 25th AEW Dark Results. First up, Best Friends Chuck Taylor and Trent defeated Storm Thomas and Dimitri Jackson. Sean Spears defeated Jesse Soren in a match. They talked about him and breaking his neck, Soren, back in the day. Mel defeated Red Velvet in a women's women's singles match. Good to see Mel out there. I think Red Velvet might get a contract. Should, maybe. Lance Archer defeated D3, tossed him around like it was nothing. Luther and Serpentico defeated Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler. They will continue their losing streak, obviously. Luther and Serpentico getting a little love there with a win. Nyla Rose defeated Kaylin King. The Gun Club, Austin and Billy, defeated Frank Stone and Baron Black. Penelope Ford defeated Heather Monroe. Penelope Ford still looking good in her career as a women's wrestler. One of the top ladies, I think, right now in AEW. Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz beat the Metro Brothers. First time we see them. Chris Metro and JC Metro. Ricky Starks, one of my up-and-coming favorites, especially if you didn't see his little promo that he cut on Sammy Guevara's YouTube channel. He defeated Sean Dean. Jake Hager tossing around Marco Stunt in a singles match. Frankie Kazarian defeated Kip Sabian. This one match you could go in and say, I'm not really sure who's going to take this one. But Frankie Kazarian gets the win over Kip Sabian. Finally, our match of the night, TH3, Angelico and Jack Evans defeated the Bad Boy, Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss. So could we see a TH2 run on AEW Dynamite soon? We have the AEW Dynamite results for August 27th, plus our grades and highlights. First up, we had Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and the return of Chris Jericho on the mic, which was good. No Excalibur. We're hearing that next week he will be back, plus on AEW Dark he will return. Though I did like the Vida Scott, actually. I liked her a lot, actually, on Dark. So we had the Tag Team Gauntlet that kick things off. So you had the number 4, the Natural Nightmares, versus the Young Bucks versus the Best Friends versus FTR. So you kick off the Gauntlet match. First you have number 4 and number 3 going at it. So we start with the Natural Nightmares and the Young Bucks. Winner, Young Bucks. I gave this one a 3. This was a good match. I'm not feeling the whole Natural Nightmares. We don't need them. I mean, maybe just to help groom some people in there, but I don't see these guys as long term. I mean, maybe a year or two, have them out, and then you have other tag teams that should be in this, like Private Party, for example, or even Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. But the Young Bucks win. Then we go on to the next match. Give that a 3.0. Then we had the next team that came out was Best Friends. So the Young Bucks and Best Friends went at it. And this one, too, we gave it a 3.0 as well. But the huge shocker is Hangman Page interferes in the match, because I was like, are they really going to do FTR versus the Young Bucks now? And maybe it's a Thursday night. They don't have AEW or NXT to go up against. I was thinking maybe they would do that. But then I'm like, I don't see, you don't want to do that right now, to have Adam Hangman Page interfere in the Young Bucks match, and then you get your winners, Best Friends. To me, probably this was the match of the night, because this was the big shocker. I was like, whoa. Then, of course, then you have Best Friends versus FTR, and no question there. FTR comes out with the win. I gave that match a 2.75. Not as good as the 3.0. It was still good. I'm a big fan of Best Friends. Love when they come out. I'm not super all like FTR is the best thing ever. They say how great they are, and I mean their matches are good. Maybe it's just not I'm not that old school style. I don't know. But FTR is your winner, and they will take on Page and Omega at All Out, which was really interesting. That matchup, because that's one that FTR could potentially win. We get rid of Omega, especially now that Hangman Page dissed the Elite. So we got some big story arc with Hangman Page going forward, and it's going to be real interesting and fun to watch. Lance Archer took Sean Maluta, don't know who you are, and destroyed him, 2.5. Lance Archer, though, I do like his character. I'm not really sure if he needs Jake the Snake Roberts anymore. There was this whole thing with Jake the Snake Roberts and Taz going at it, basically announcing this big battle royal thing, which are always fun at AEW All Out. Though, like, Jake the Snake was just, I don't know, man. He's not looking good. He's very overweight. I thought DDP fixed him up. Not really sure what's going on with the Snake. But it was still, it was kind of an awkward, to be honest with you. It was like an awkward exchange. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And then it was kind of like weird and awkward. So I don't know what's going on with Snake, leading up to a pretty cool match coming at All Out. Then we had a promo hyping the AEW versus NWA match, which is going to be cool. Thunder Rosa against Hikaru Shida. I'm looking forward to that one as well. It shows you how not deep the AEW women's division is right now. And that's now fault of their own. They have a lot of injuries too. And some of their other better wrestlers are out of the country. We had a Moxley and MJF contract signing. This was okay. We check in with Santana and Ortiz. That was cool. Maybe a Best Friends rematch. And that's the other thing. Where was Santana and Ortiz in this gauntlet match? Where are they? Well, how come they're not in the top 5? They should be. 8-man tag match, which I'm not a fan of these things because you're just throwing everybody in together. But the Butcher, the Blade, Ray Phoenix, Pentagon Jr. versus Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman getting a little spot. Too much over. Oh my gosh, he looks like his dad, this, that, and the other thing. Let him be his own person. A lot of these younger audiences don't know who the hell Brian Pillman is. So calm yourself. Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. This match was okay. It was fun, and I'm always a huge, definitely in my top 5 wrestlers in AEW. Ray Phoenix is up there. And the Butcher, the Blade, Ray Phoenix, Pentagon get the win. I gave that a 2.75. That was a good match. The Dark Order Celebration came out. And then we got a beatdown. Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky came out there. And then we had Anna Jay involved with all that stuff, which is always good for our site. Because anytime you mention Anna Jay on AEW on Dark or Dynamite, traffic to our site goes up. So she joins the Dark Order. She's the queen or whatever her deal is. Though I'm a little my thing with the Dark Order, and I think it's because we watch BTE, I wish Dark Order would do, they have plenty of characters to now spin off of BTE and do their own thing. The whole, like, everybody tries to do the goofball thing is fine, but it also kind of gets a little old. I want the Dark Order to be dark and bad, but it's like John Silver's in it. And why does Reynolds and Silvers never wear their mask? They should be putting their mask on. I don't understand why they don't have their mask on when they come out. We got to check in with Paige. Then we had the women's handicap match, which was kind of awkward. Big Swole versus Britt Baker, Penelope Ford, and Reba, which they even make fun of. They don't know what the deal is. That was 2.25. Swole's ready. I mean, Swole should be up there and competing for the championship going forward. Not really sure where Nyla Rose is and all of this stuff. But Big Swole gets the win. This was okay. I mean, it wasn't terrible. And of course, Taya Conte is now a member of the Dark Order, which is cool. Finally, let's have a faction with some women in it that are in it too. So those two in the Dark Order, it could be something cool. Just a little too goofball-y stuff going on with the Dark Order. Then we had the tables match, which was kind of rushed. Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. Sammy got bloodied and beaten up, but this was a good match. I gave it a 3.25. That was fun. Even though it was quick, it was still a great match. Then we had Orange Cassidy come out and attack Chris Jericho, and that's it for AEW Dynamite. AEW's ratings are in for the August 22nd special Saturday show, and they finished 5th overall. Really surprising. So ratings for the August 22nd, 2020 edition of AEW Dynamite were released Tuesday. According to a report by Showbiz Daily, AEW finished 5th overall for the night. Dynamite drew 755,000 viewers, slightly down from last week's 792,000 viewers. They finished 9th last week on Wednesday night. Dynamite, of course, was taped in Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, and, of course, was moved to a 6 p.m. start time on Saturday, no less. According to PW Insider, Warner Media executives are pleased with AEW's weekend rating. Officials were, quote, extremely happy with the ratings, which allowed TNT to have 3 of the top 5 rated broadcasts in that special 18 to 34 demo. On Wednesday, with no competition from AEW, NXT drew 853,000 viewers, way up from last week's 619,000 viewers. It finished 23rd overall, way up from last week's super low 65th overall. That's not very good. Based on the ratings, the NBA had 3 of the top spots, with UFC at number 4. Now, TNT executives should realize that they have something special with AEW. The fact that they were able to draw well on a show that actually started at 6:34 p.m. bodes really well for the promotion. Something else interesting for that Wednesday night, that August 19th, where NXT finished 23rd. If you looked at the top broadcasts for the night, the Democratic National Convention drew a ton, and so did the NBA playoffs. So the chances of AEW actually doing decently or doing well on Wednesday night, it actually might have been a good thing that they moved out, because they might not have finished in the top 10 between the NBA playoffs and the Democratic National Convention going on at the same time. Eyeballs were turned into those two things. So in some respects, this move to a Saturday at an obscure time slot might have actually helped AEW. Ratings are in for Dynamite, this past special Thursday episode, and the promotion finishes 11th for the night. It's pretty good. The Thursday, August 27th edition of AEW Dynamite was released on Friday, and according to Showbuzz Daily, Dynamite drew 813,000 viewers, up from last week's Saturday. 750,000 viewers. They finished 5th last week on that Saturday night. Dynamite, of course, was live this week at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, but was moved to Thursday due to the whole NBA playoffs. On Wednesday, with no competition from AEW, NXT drew 824,000 viewers, down from last week's 853,000 viewers. It finished 24th overall, similarly to the 23rd finish they did last week. Now, based on the ratings, the Republican National Convention dominated the night, with only 2 non-news shows in the top 10. That was Real Housewives of New York City, finished at 8th, and the First 48 finished at 10th. So both shows, NXT and AEW Dynamite had to go up against the Republican National Convention. Now that that's the Democratic one and the Republican one is done, now we'll see how both shows will do when they go back head to head next week. Ethan's Page Impact contract is set to expire soon. Could there be some interest from AEW? So recently, Wrestle Talk released an article saying that Impact Wrestling star Ethan Page's current contract with the company was set to expire December 31st, 2020. There's no word yet on if Page is interested in re-signing with Impact Wrestling or if he is negotiating a new contract with the company. AEW, as well as other wrestling promotions, are reportedly interested in signing him. Even though All Elite Wrestling has shown a huge amount of interest in signing Ethan Page, there has reportedly been no official contact between the two parties. Page recently took to Twitter and said that he will be, quote, printing money starting January 1st, 2021, adding fuel to the rumors and speculation that he could possibly sign with AEW or maybe even WWE. Ethan Page made his Impact Wrestling debut in November 2017 and even worked for promotions such as Ring of Honor and Evolve Wrestling prior to working for Impact. Page recently finished an unprecedented Impact Wrestling World Tag Team title reign as a member of the North with Josh Alexander, eventually losing the titles to the Motor City Machine Guns. Following Slammiversary, the North became the longest reigning tag team champions in Impact history with a reign of 383 days. It's a long time. You can check out the interaction with picture of Ethan Page and Cody using the eyeball test. Checking it out. Maybe there's some interest from AEW. Virtually everybody in WWE reportedly is in contact with AEW. That's right, according to Dave Metzler of the Wrestling Observer Radio, a very large number of WWE superstars, quote, virtually everybody on the current WWE roster has reached out to AEW in some fashion to discuss a potential future with the wrestling promotion. The report states that AEW is obviously not interested in bringing in all of these WWE talents, but interest has been shown on certain individuals. These wrestlers are looking at how much money they could potentially be offered if they sign with AEW one day in the future. The report also states that one of the WWE superstars who remained completely loyal to the WWE brand and has not contacted AEW in any form is Roman Reigns, who up until recently had been absent from WWE TV since April due to concerns surrounding COVID-19 pandemic. Chris Jericho mentioned on his Saturday night special YouTube series that Reigns is the person at the top of his WWE wish list of superstars that he would want to see in AEW someday. Jericho also mentioned that he would want to see Cesaro competing in an AEW ring at some point as well. This is all fine and dandy, but our roster is pretty stacked right now in AEW. Not really sure if you want to add more retreads to this. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. What WWE wrestlers should join AEW? We got the latest news on the AEW Dynamite TV taping schedule for mid-September. So AEW Dynamite on Thursday was the first time in 5 months, my friends, 5 months that fans were allowed to attend a live taping. The promotion offered close to 600 tickets, all of which were sold out in 4 minutes. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Metzler is reporting that AEW plans to tape episodes of Dynamite on TNT and AEW Dark on YouTube every other week for the foreseeable future. However, there is a slight change with taping dates for early in September. So here's the plan for the beginning of September. AEW will keep everyone, all the roster, in Jacksonville from the 2nd of September all the way to the 9th. Dynamite will air live on September 2nd, the go-home show for AEW All Out on September 5th. Then they will be live once again on September 9th. Per Metzler, the feeling is that if they have everyone in town already, why not keep them there just for the week? Khan and company did not want to tape the post All Out show before the pay-per-view event actually took place. Makes sense. He also noted that the September 9th taping would be for shows on the 9th, 16th, and 17th, plus AEW Dark on those days. The 17th taping will air on TNT September 23rd. Then the taping schedule for episodes after September 17th seemed to remain to be seen, but they'll likely go back to an every other week plan till basically the end of the year. All shows will still be held at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. All Elite Wrestling will continue to sell tickets for next week's show and All Out on to a limited number of fans. We'll see if that holds. Really, my friends, December is going to be the month where we see if this thing goes in the right direction or the wrong direction. Did you know you can get all the latest AEW news right from your phone? That's right, we're excited to announce the Pro Wrestling News Hub app. That's right, and it's free. You can get it for your iPhone. You can get it for your Google Android phone. And they're both free. You get all our breaking AEW news, information from Pro Wrestling News Hub right from your phone. You can just visit the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. What do you get? You get the latest news from Pro Wrestling News Hub. You get push notifications when a new post or story comes out. You get our podcast on the phone. You can leave us a review on iTunes, links to our social media, and so much more. All you have to do is, if you have an iPhone, go to the iTunes store and just look up Pro Wrestling News Hub and download it. Just type in AEW News. You can get our phone app, and guess it is free, my friends. It's free. So head over. You get all the latest news right from your phone, from your friends from Pro Wrestling News Hub, whether you have an iPhone or an Android. And it's best of all, it's free. All right, let's get to some of our social media stuff. First up, Brody Lee becomes the new TNT champion on Dynamite. Gray says it should be Darby or Sammy. But it's okay, I guess. People are not getting mad on that, maybe. Those would be two good choices. I think the idea, though, to have it on Brody Lee for a while with his Dark Order group, I think is a good idea to help build their group up a little bit and give them some clout in AEW. Could Darby take them on? That would be a good one. Sammy, he's got his own group. And they already got their own thing going on, so I don't think Sammy needs a belt right this second, especially after some of the stuff, between the chair and the Sasha Banks thing. So I don't think Sammy will get a belt anytime soon. Darby would be a good pick. I don't have a problem with that. On the Twitter, Paul St. Peter, Paul Peter 6 says, any news on the signing of Chaz Moss or GR Thrasher? Nothing to report there. We posted on Irish Whip Podcast. So we posted about how we went to Walmart. I actually went to Walmart to look, see if they had any AEW stuff in my area. All they had was the belt, and that was it. Irish Whip Podcast says winning. They got Jericho, Kenny Omega, and Cody, which I'm like, oh. The one I want the most of the figures is Kenny Omega. That's the one I want. Maybe Jericho as well. Let's see about Sonny Kiss getting congratulations. If you didn't know, Sonny Kiss recently got a cat and gown. He's going to graduate college, which is very cool, and kinesiology and personal training and all that kind of stuff. And finally, Frederick Anderson Thunderstorm. When we had posted a picture of our live coverage of Dynamite with Tully and FTR, he said the new Four Horsemen. Maybe, maybe not. Let's get to our emailers. First up, we got Khalid says, I love to see Leva Bates wrestle in a women's match if it's possible. I would like to see her wrestle in a women's match too. However, they don't really use her, and they barely used her. Is something going on? Is she just not she is a wrestler. I'm not really sure what she's doing there. They, especially in the time where they needed women to wrestle, I was surprised they haven't used her at all, really. I mean, she was part of that women's tag team tournament, but barely wrestled in there a little bit. I don't know if she's hurt. I don't know really what the deal is with her. But yeah, I would like to see her wrestle more too. I thought she was good. Maybe she's injured or who knows. Dwayne says, hi, I read your article on these AEW figures. I was hoping that maybe you had some info on if these would be released in Canada. I tried contacting AEW through their email on their website, and I haven't received a reply yet. I haven't heard anything about Canada, but stay with AEW or ProWrestlingNewsHub.com. If we find out more if these figures are going to be released. We can't even, listen, Canada, you got to wait your turn because I haven't gotten mine yet. So if I haven't gotten mine yet, you are not allowed to. It's just not fair. It is not fair, my friends. All right. You know what is fair? Checking in with our boy, Mr. Fourth Row.
It's a go for another phone call there from Mr. Fourth Row. Hey, AEW Week in Review and Mr. Mark. Let's just do kind of a little bit of a quick catch up from previous week's calls. So if you guys didn't catch some of my clarifications on Twitter, let's just talk wildfires in Colorado. We've got like 3 or 4 wildfires in the area that are just filling our smokes. You know, we got a lot of mountains, and we're going through a horrible drought here in the area. Probably they say in about 8 years it's been not this bad. So we've got things that just happening, and it's affecting people like me, as you can tell with my voice. I suffer from seasonal allergies, mostly ragweed, and so smoke from wildfires can cause problems, but I'm still doing okay, and things of that nature. Attending a lot of wrestling events. We are doing all of our distancing and safety precautions like we normally did. In fact, this past weekend, one of the things I just talked about, promotion, we have Lucha Libre and Laughs finally made its return to what we call the Oriental Theater, like the comedians say, probably the most racist theater in the country. But we had 4 shows. Only each show was only an hour and a half, so 2 shows per night on Friday and Saturday with a lot of distancing. Normally that theater can hold about 600 people, but we only sold 50 tickets per show, so we're talking less than 10% of the normal capacity. So, and there was a lot of great distancing. It was a fun night. A lot of our local wrestlers were the only ones that participated in it, but it was great to see a lot of them get back into the ring and things of that nature. And then we did have one surprise that everybody should know, and that's Kikutaro. He came out. He is a great fit for Lucha Libre and Laughs because of his comedic style. And this is comedians, comedy, and wrestling all put together. But anyways, let's get into the question that was posed to us, and that is Dynamite changing days, specifically this past week from Wednesday to Saturday. It kind of has to happen, of course, because with the NBA and this particular thing. But we're talking about maybe the future. Does Dynamite be able to move to Monday and take on Raw, Monday Night War, from the Wednesday Night War? And, I'm not so sure if they have to. I think they're doing well. Of course, the ratings are doing, like you said, Mark, as good as Raw is doing with theirs. So, the way I kind of look at it is, people that are passionate about it, like us, we are going to go ahead and watch AEW no matter what, however it is. The only thing that the tradition of they say is to stay off Friday night and Saturday nights, just because people are usually tending to do other things. May or may not be true with the current state of affairs with the world today, but they say that you should just stay off that. And I know that, specifically because I'm also a science fiction fan, and one of the my favorite shows, Sliders, back in the day, that was the death knell of them when they moved to Friday nights, I believe, on Fox. Oh, there we go, another WWE tie-in, Fox. But anyways, well, that's the way I look at it. And once again, that is my view, not from the cheap seats, not from the most expensive seats, but from the fourth row.
All right, thanks for Mr. Fourth Row checking in. Still those wildfires going on. The only thing I can think of is it eventually will snow. Lots and lots and lots in Denver. So hopefully put those things out and you all can get back to normal. It's really cool to hear that now, slowly but surely. I mean, we had AEW fans in attendance, 600 or so, 500 to 600, which is a great start, baby steps. We don't need these outbreaks and these hospitals getting overrun. Things have been pretty good in certain areas, most of the country. Some of them are not as good as others. But it's glad to see that this starts to ramp up again. And now that we get that indie scene, which was super hot going in before all the stuff went down, and then having to be shut down too, and getting these wrestlers out there. So it's good. We've had shows, AEWs can continue to go. Now we're going to get some fans in there. I'm telling you, it's this October, November, December thing. If we can get through that in the flu season, I'm really thinking that we'll get back and ramp things back up. Plus with something vaccine type thing, we'll get that thing going and we can get back to normal. But just having some fans and the fact that you're able to go to a local event and hang out, even though it's like 50 people or so, no one's getting sick. We're not hearing like, oh, there was a big outbreak at a wrestling event. It's a good sign. I'm cautiously optimistic, but thanks for checking it in. Remember, next week's question of the week: which match are you looking forward to the most for All Out? I will give you my take next week. I won't want to bias you. So if you want to be part of the show, just email podcast@Pro Wrestling News Hub or call 888-430-7692 extension 3. Remember, follow us on all the social, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube especially. Like and subscribe our channel there. We kind of restarted our Pro Wrestling News Hub channel because the old one was kind of geared towards WWE, and we were just like, let's restart it and really be focused on AEW only, so that fans who subscribe know that they're getting just AEW Pro Wrestling news. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the show. We really appreciate those stuff. Listen to us anywhere you can get a podcast. We are on every single platform. Show notes, prowrestlingNewsHub.com/AEW-podcast. And join our Discord. That's in the show notes and in the description. You can join our Discord channel here. So it's been a good week of wrestling. I'm really looking forward to next week's show, as I'm sure you are. Our site continues to grow. Remember to definitely follow us on Twitter. We're approaching 1,000 followers on Twitter, and that's a really nice milestone to hit, considering we were basically at nothing but a month or two ago. So it's been a really great growth. Site starting to kick off, so we're really excited about that. And thanks for listening. Thanks you all for listening. That's it for me, folks. Mahalo to all my friends out there. Mask it up for now. God bless you all, and I will see you all later.